good afternoon, good evening, and good night from wherever or whenever you're listening or you're watching to me, you, and the universe with your favorite redheaded host, Naya Ceylon. And I'm really excited about today because I haven't been able to, or I have not made time for this in a long time. And thinking about the time I spent away from me, you, and the universe, from the time I spent away from you all, I find that I'm grateful that I was able to step back, and even throughout these past couple months, I've been able to just really focus on what's important for me to share with you, or what I feel is important to share. And it's a weird feeling when you're not doing something that you love, but you're grateful for learning more about what you love when you're away from it, right? The time I spent away allowed me to learn and craft more around what I love. And I love sharing this human experience, right? And I say share so much because that's what we do every day. We share this presence, we share this universe, we share this experience that we call being human, right? Because being human is an experience. We're all in this together, whether you realize it or not. And as you see next to me and behind me, it might be a little bit different of scenery that you all are used to. The chair next to me is empty because not only does this episode represent gratitude, right? As I said, I'm grateful, and that's what it's about today, is gratitude. This empty chair represents a space for my father, right? His birthday was in October, and in August was his anniversary of his crossing, right? And you'll see, for those listening, you may not be able to see, but for those watching, there's an empty chair next to me. And I've chosen this specific location. We're in my mom's backyard. Shout out to Mama. This is an entire representation of what I'm grateful for. And everything means something, right? This empty chair represents a space for my father to come and sit and experience his daughter blossom into bigger than what he could even imagine, right? This tree behind me represents the stability and growth and offering me grounding, right? This is representative of my mom. When we lost my dad, all I had was my mom. Everything means something, right? And we're in Arizona. We're in a state where I was born and I grew up, and so much of my family experiences happened here. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. So I'm grateful for each piece that, even as I'm talking, I'm realizing I'm grateful for, right? And that's what today is about. Today is about gratitude. This episode is about gratitude, moments of gratitude. What are you grateful for? And what in this moment can we be grateful for, right? So, with that being said, I just kind of jumped in. I didn't even do our little duke how we usually do, right? So, I hope you have some water, because we're about to take a sip right now. Go ahead, grab that bottle of water. You got about 2 seconds. I'm about to take my sip now. Go ahead, pause. Grab your little drink of water. Cheers. So good, right? Let me some water. Do you have your notebook and your pen? Go ahead, grab that. If you don't need it, you don't need it, right? Because it's your universe. Right now, I'm just in it. Now that you got your water, now that you got your notebook, now that you got what you need, I got something sweet for me because I need something sweet. something good. So get you something sweet too. Enjoy yourself. Light a candle. Do what you gotta do. And next thing on our list, what I usually do, I don't know, it's been so long, y'all, I don't even remember. So sit up. If you're standing, if you're driving, if you're sitting, if you're walking, take a moment. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes though. Please don't close your eyes, but you can still participate, right? Put both feet on the ground. And usually I put my hands, on my knees up or even close to me. And I close my eyes, right? And I loosen my shoulders because, our shoulders are not our earrings, right? Loosen your shoulders, straighten up your back, relax a little, loosen that jaw up, untense that forehead. Come on now, untense it. You're fine, you're okay. This is a safe space. Now, we're gonna breathe in for 3 seconds, hold it for 3, and exhale for 3, right? We're gonna do that 3 times. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, all of it. Ready? 2, 3, and exhale. 2, 3. One more time, 2 more times actually. Ready? Inhale. Hold. 2, 3, and exhale. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Come on now. Inhale. Hold, and exhale. And do that a couple more times if you need to. If it feels good, it feels good for me. I feel better. I feel more attuned to what is around me. I feel more attuned to what my message is to you today. I feel good. I feel better, right? And what I want you to imagine when you're doing that type of breath is you are inhaling all of this golden, and this comes straight from my dad. Inhaling all of that golden light, all that beautiful golden energy, and you're exhaling all of whatever's inside you that you're holding on to that makes you anxious, that makes you angry, that makes you sad. We're breathing in golden light and we're letting go of everything else, right? We're letting go of that. Now, the purpose of today, what are we doing today? What's the point of this? Why are we talking about gratitude? Why are we talking about giving thanks? Why are we doing this, right? Let me tell you where this idea came from. This came from, I was at like a mini seminar the other day with this amazing speaker, and she was sharing tips on how to take control of your life, really. And as someone who also speaks about this, it was really hard for me to connect with her. It felt like I was being sold an idea rather than sharing an experience, right? So it was hard for me to connect with her. And I have misophonia, which is a heightened sensitivity to sounds, all that stuff. And they were people were eating snacks, and it was really distracting for me. And I couldn't focus. It made me anxious. It made me angry. Like I just wanted to leave. And then I thought about, well, what does that look like to everyone else? I mean, fix your face. I mean, because you can read everything on my face. So I told myself, fix your face. Be grateful that you even had this invitation to be here, right? Because there's 20 other women who have never heard any of this in their life. And just because you've heard it 1,000 times and you talk about it 1,000 times doesn't mean that you're better than anyone else and you're above experiencing this with everyone else. Because we're sharing this and you're separating yourself from everyone else. Why? Right? And I was also so grateful. It felt so good to kind of step back into that and realize I'm with my mom. I'm with my mom's friend. When is this specific moment ever going to happen again? When is this energy going to surround me, right? I'm in a room full of beautiful black women getting an empowering message from a beautiful black woman. When is this going to happen again, right? So I stepped into becoming aware of those small nuggets of gratitude. Because even if I felt like I didn't take anything away from what she said, it wasn't about me, right? It's not always about me. It's about how my mom felt. What did my mom take away? She was in joy, sitting there with me and her friend, listening to this woman. She was in joy. The women behind me were in joy. You could hear it. They were making comments. They were talking. They were laughing. They were in joy. And who am I to separate myself from that and say, oh, I'm choosing not to do it? Because everything's a choice, right? Oh, I'm choosing not to be in joy. I'm choosing to be above this. Why? Why not just experience it? Why not just be in this moment? Why are you so ready to leave? Why are you so ready to do what's next? Be in the moment. So when you do this presence exercise for a while, you don't really need to do the whole okay. You just, it kind of clicks, right? So in that moment, I was like, oh shit. Let me sit. Even if I'm not taking anything away, my mom is. These women are. That's where my joy comes from. That's where I pulled in that gratitude. Because this experience wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And that's fine. It was for someone else. And I partake, it's a word today, okay? I partook in their joy. I hopped onto that light because I couldn't find that in myself for this exchange. But I pulled in from the joy around me, right? I pulled in that gratitude for what this presenter was giving to my mom, to my friend, to the rest of the ladies around me. That's where I got my gratitude from. That's where this entire episode comes from. It's pulling in joy and pulling in gratitude when it has nothing to do with you. But you need to be aware of how that affects everyone else. Because if I sat there looking upset and with my back turned to her and my arms crossed, that takes away from everyone else's experience. And that's not fair. That's not fair. And we're all about love, and we're joyous, and we're light. So why choose not to lean into that, right? We covered, the importance of becoming aware of those small little nuggets of gratitude, because if we're not doing it for ourselves, if we can't find any joy in this for ourselves, let's pull in and lean into that for someone else. Maybe we're here for them, because there's a reason why we're here. There's a reason why I was sitting in front of that beautiful black woman telling me how to take control of my life again, right? Maybe I needed to hear something again, right? But maybe in that moment I couldn't figure it out. So I chose to lean into and pull in that joy and gratitude and light and love from the energy around me. And one of the greatest teachers that I have ever known, that I've ever learned from, that felt like a real, like, this is being human and this is how I do it, right? He asked us to ask ourselves, when we're feeling so stuck and we're feeling so sad, we're feeling angry, we're feeling so not in this moment, what is the good in this that I'm not seeing? What is the good in this that I am not seeing in this moment right now? Right? And when we ask ourselves that question, the universe provides answers. Right? Because when I was sitting in that seminar, I asked myself, what's the good in this that I'm not seeing? Because I'm not interested in it at all. I could walk out right now and never look back, and I'd be happy. The good in that was knowing how important it was for my mom for me to be there with her in that moment. experience that with her. Experience that with her friend. Experience it with the other beautiful black women around us. It was bigger than me. It was bigger than me. So there were some things that I had to let go of when I asked myself that question. Because you can't ask yourself that question, what's the goodness I'm not seeing? And then choose not to see it. You can't ask yourself that and then close your eyes to what the universe is trying to show you. Right? So after that, or maybe before that, we ask ourselves, what emotions do I need to put aside to feel present? And in that seminar, I was annoyed. I told you, I just said I was annoyed. I was irritated. And I had to put that aside because I'm choosing to feel that way. Yes, there are circumstances around me that may influence me to feel that way, but I have the choice to lean into that or not. I mean, I could be sitting in one of the most boring classes, meetings, seminars, workshops, whatever I've ever experienced in my life, but I'm choosing to only see that side. I'm choosing to feel bored. And when I feel like I can't, like when I feel like it is just impossible for me to feel present, like I need to get out of here, like I just, like, right? What do we do when we feel like we can't get present and there's no other option other than for us to just get out? We do our breath work. We breathe. We breathe first. Because some of us, when we get anxious and we get angry and we get sad and we feel all of these things, and yes, feel what you gotta feel what you gotta feel. I'm not telling you to not do that, but breathe through it. Breathe through it. Ground yourself. Go back to the feeling that you got when you saw your baby cousin for the first time, when you saw your grandma after months and years, going back home to eat dinner with your family. Go back to that feeling. Ground yourself in something that means something to you, right? And become aware of what is outside of ourselves. Because that's what I've been saying, is going outside of yourself to recognize what is around you. Because if we change our thinking, how does that change how other people in the space relate to us? How does that change the energy overall in the space? Because I'll tell you, I was stiff. I was tense. I was rigid in that seminar. And once I let it go, once I realized, oh, you're doing this to yourself, baby. Like, everyone else around you is having a great time. Why don't you lean into that instead of sitting here choosing to be so irritated? I felt this cloud of this fog so thick you could cut it with a knife just dissipate. It dissipated around me because I chose to lean into love and joy and the gratitude of others to fill that space of my negativity. Right? And I found myself even more grateful. Even if I wasn't absorbing anything from this seminar, I found myself absorbing the joy from others. And I keep saying that. I keep saying this in 1,000 different ways. But that's what it means. We are coming out of ourselves to lean into the joy that we're missing, into the gratitude that we're missing. And we're being grateful for every experience. No matter what it is, we're grateful for every experience. Even, I'll be honest with you, my father's passing, I got to meet my brother for maybe the second time in 10 years. That's a moment of gratitude. I'm not grateful that my dad's dead. Like, I would love to have him sit here and have this beautiful conversation with me in the flesh. But that's not the case. But I'm grateful to have this space and offer this space for his spirit to come and just be with us today. Right? So we're becoming aware of how our energy and our facial expressions, our body language affects other people. Because we're separating how we feel and focusing on who we're doing this for. I was doing it for my mom. At first I was doing it for my mom, and then I expanded that and did it for my mom's friend, did it for the black women around me, did it for the event coordinator, did it for the presenter. Because how do you think, if you're the presenter, how would you feel if someone was just sitting here like this, looking at you, not smiling, and they look like they're ready to go, leg bouncing, ready to go? That would make me want to be like, what's wrong? Stop the whole presentation. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? So I didn't want to take away from everyone else's experience by being selfish, right? Because that's what it was. I was being selfish. And that helps us, circling back to the purpose of today, is becoming attuned to those subtle moments of gratitude, even when they don't directly involve us. And that brings me to another point. You can still be irritated and be grateful at the same time. The two can coexist, right? It may not be yin and yang, but the two can coexist. I was still, a little. Well, let me go back to my initial question of what do I do when I feel like I can't? What do I do? What can help me? What do I do when I feel like I can't get present and let go of that irritation? You live with it. Live with it and be grateful at the same time. Because maybe I was a little bit irritated that I still had to stay, and maybe I was focusing on the logistical pieces of the event that could have gone better. Because let me tell y'all, they gave us a charcuterie board on a little clipboard and gave us stuff that could roll off of it. So hey, but instead of focusing, I recognized that irritated me a little bit. Maybe it was in the back of my head a little bit. I lived with it, but I let my gratitude overshadow everything else. Right? I let my gratitude overshadow my irritation. In my readiness to go, I let that be overshadowed by my willingness to be present in that moment. So as I was saying, we're separating how we feel from how it affects others. We're recognizing those emotions. We're not pushing them down. We're not dismissing them. We're living with them. And we're choosing a different direction. Instead of leaning into that irritation, instead of leaning into what could have gone better, I leaned into what felt, how everyone else was feeling. Around me, I was hearing laughter, I was hearing joyous conversation. I leaned into that, and I let go of that selfishness of, well, I don't want to be here. Because it wasn't about me, right? It wasn't about me. Because what do? Right? What does that mean? It means we do things for people we love, even if we don't want to do it. Because we love them. I love my mom. I love that she loves her friends. And I love that she loves to go out and experience things that she hasn't done before, or be around people who look like her, right? And I needed to lean into that. I needed to lean into love instead of leaning into that irritation. I needed to lean into that gratitude of being around someone who loved me so much that they wanted me to come with them. Because afterwards, you know what my mom told me? Because I shared with her that I shared with her all of this. I shared with her my human experience of, well, I didn't really feel like I needed to be there. Maybe I didn't really enjoy being there, but I enjoyed my mom's company. I enjoyed being around her. And you know what my mom said to me? She said she was grateful that I came. Even if I wasn't fully invested, it was for my mom. I did it for my mom, right? Because what do you do? Who do you live for? What do you live for, right? You live for what you love. You live for who you love. Because let's tie it back to previous episodes and what my dad shared with me, and I never understood it until maybe earlier this year or last year, is that you do not own your life. No, you don't. You think you do, but the people you love own your life. And it's not the traditional sense of ownership, it's the fact that we do things for people we love. I sacrificed a lot for the people I love. I up-leveled, I elevated for the people that I love. Because in no way in hell did my dad, did my mom, did my grandmother, did my grandfather, did my brothers, did my sister, did my cousins, did my aunts and uncles and everything in between sacrifice so much for me, knowingly and unknowingly, for me to blow it all away. Right? We are embodying love by becoming present in those moments and becoming grateful for those little bits and pieces, those little nuggets. And we become aware of being present, and we become aware of so much. And we change our being by becoming present. Right? We are embodying love by becoming present, and we change our being by becoming present. And if you are doing what you believe is the worst thing in the world, if you're in the most boring class, if you're in the biggest rush of your life and the Uber driver is going 20 miles too slow, take a breath. Right? Take a breath. Have that faith, have that confidence that you will get to where you need to go. And if something happens in between, have confidence and faith in yourself that you'll be able to handle it. If the train is going slow, if the Uber driver is going slow, if you're in a boring class, ask yourself the question, what is the good in this that I'm not seeing? Look for those pieces of light. Look for those pieces of gratitude. I mean, maybe if you're sitting in the Uber, what music is playing? Do you like the song? Can you like the song? Can you choose to like the song? Right? I'll tell you something. A couple of weeks ago, or maybe a couple months ago, I don't know, time isn't real. I was sitting in an Uber, and the traffic was awful. I mean, from A to B that normally took 15 minutes, it might have taken an hour and a half. And that's okay. That's okay, because there was nothing I could do about it. I couldn't control it. I just had to have confidence and faith that I was going to get there on time. And if I didn't get there on time, it's an airport. There's 1,000 flights going out every day. I'll find one, right? And I had to believe that I was going to get there on time. And somehow, some way, my driver got off the highway, took all the back streets, and I got there on time, right? I willed it, I wanted it, and I asked myself, what's the good in this that I'm not seeing? And the good in that was I was on the phone with my mom. I had time to talk to my mom, and I hadn't talked to her in about a couple of days. So that was the good, right? I looked for it and I found it. So all that I can say to you is look for the good in all things. Nothing is as awful, nothing is as dull, nothing is as annoying, nothing is as time-wasting or angering as you think it is, because you're letting it affect you in that way. You're choosing to go on that path. And there's some things that you're like, like I have no control over this. Like if someone purposefully is bugging me, of course I'm gonna get annoyed. But you know what my mom does? Because I do that on purpose to my mom sometimes too. I try to annoy her on purpose, and you know what she does? She just looks at me and she says, I love you. I love you so much. And that annoys me because I'm trying to annoy her, and she's not giving me what I want. So she finds the good that she's around one of her favorite people in the world, her daughter. And she embraces it instead of choosing the path of irritation. She chooses the path of love every single time. So find the little bits of joy, find the gratitude, find the light, find the love, find the wisdom in all things. And the one question you ask yourself to do that is, what is the good that I'm not seeing in this moment? What is the wisdom that I'm not seeing? What is the light? What is the joy? What is the love? And look for it. Choose to look for it. Choose a different path. It's there. We just need to open ourselves up to it. Open yourself up. Thank you all. It's been a beautiful conversation, a beautiful day. There's no day like the present. And thank you to everyone who listens, who shares, who enjoys. And thank you to everyone who appreciates and takes even a sentence, a word or two of what I'm saying, and incorporates it into their day. Cheers.